Hello, my dear student. Hope you are all well and safe at your home in this lockdown situation, which has compelled, rather to say, created a kind of opportunity for us to take classes in this alternative academic platform. All are welcome to my online class. Today, in this online class, I shall try to give you a general introduction to Christopher Marlowe as a playwright. Now, at the very beginning of my discussion, let me focus on the life and literary career of Christopher Marlowe. Marlowe is considered as a great of Shakespeare's predecessor. He is also regarded a true founder of the morning star of English drama. Marlowe was born in 1564 in Canterbury, 2 months before Shakespeare. To a shoemaker's family and educated from the University of Cambridge with the assistance of his relative. Later, it is said that he served as a spy. At the same time, he had fascination for theatrical world of London. We know that at the age of 23, he produced his first play, Temple and the Great, in 1587, which earned him recognition. Marlowe was a rebel and a man of dispute as far as the society and religious attitude were concerned. Marlowe's view at religion was unconventional and unorthodox. It was Francis Kidd, the Cambridge mystic, who largely shaped his attitude in religious matters. Marlowe was also influenced by scholars like Sir Walter Raleigh. Marlowe's association with Raleigh's so-called school of thought, atheism, make him express his view and opinions which were then considered as highly objectionable and obnoxious. Now, what is interesting point here is that Marlowe had the reputation of being an obscure, atheist and epicure and a ridiculer of religion. In 1593, Richard Baines, a government informer, brought against him a serious charge of atheism and blasphemy, which resulted in an investigation by Privy Council of London. He was accused of saying, for example, religion is the sole cause of man's suffering, and Moses was a juggler. He is also suspected of delivering a lecture in defense of atheism. However, he gets stabbed suddenly in 1593 in his drunken fight with his friend Ingram Fraser. But the fact is that Marlowe's skeptical and rebellious temperament was not simply his individual tendency. He was a representative figure of the time of his generation who came to believe and value the Renaissance ideals, which is characterized by freedom of thought, limitless ambition and adventure, love for knowledge and power, and the anthropocentric worldview instead of the traditional theological attitudes or ideologies, meticulous scholarship, keen appreciation of beauty, and so on. These ideals were embodied in the great humanists and masters of Renaissance like Petrarch, Dante, and Pico Mirandola, and Marcello Ficino et al. Now, question is that why we should remember and respect Marlowe as a writer. A man of Renaissance product, Marlowe was a potential poet, dramatist, and a translator. But basically, Marlowe, a man of fiery imagination and immense power, is a playwright with Renaissance lyrical fervor. His merit is that he set the Elizabethan stage on fire with the flame of indomitable spirit or passion, and the passion of Renaissance humanism. Charged with new unorthodox ideas, he had his own conception of man and society, which he interprets and dramatizes in terms of changing socio-economic context. In fact, he possessed superior artistic dexterity or quality with which he developed the contemporary Elizabethan drama into the sphere of high literature to an art form. Thus, Marlowe made great contribution to English drama. For example, he makes an effective use of blank verse, which is described by Dr. Johnson as quote-unquote Marlowe's mighty line. A pioneer, he reintroduced and reoriented the blank verse with a new poetic artistry and genius, and scaling it in terms of human desires and passion, thus making it most suitable meter for English drama. Secondly, he is introducer of English romantic tragedy, and thirdly, he also wrote English history play, which even influenced Shakespeare. Last but not the least, he makes deeper psychological delineation of characters, though lacking in portrayal of women characters. At the same time, we see that Marlowe had actually dissociated the Elizabethan stage from the deeper influence of Seneca or Senecan tragedy. However, Marlowe is one of the university which, along with Thomas Keat, Robert Greene, and Thomas Nash, historically his importance as a writer is undeniable. His plays actually pattern the form of drama or tragedies for his immediate successors. He thus paved the path for Shakespeare as a writer. Shakespeare's narrative poem, for example, Venus and Adonis, is inspired by Marlowe's Hero and Leander. Historical plays of Shakespeare, Richard II and Richard III, were largely based on Marlowe's history play, Edward II. Even Shakespeare, The Merchant of Venice, is largely indebted to Foster's, to Marlowe's The Jew of Malta. Marlowe's plays are basically one-man tragedy based on Renaissance ideals. Their characters are full of moral dilemma and too much passion. His major works include Tamburlaine the Great. This is written in 1587. It's a story of Timur, an ambitious, shepherd who becomes a great conqueror finally. Dr. Faustus, written in 1588, dramatizes the story of the life and death of a German scholar, ambitious scholar who sells his soul for power and pleasure. And the third book, The Jew of Malta, written in 1589, is a study of the lust for wealth of Barabbas, a terrible Jewish moneylender in Machiavellian scheme. Edward II is a history play, is a tragic tale of king's weakness and misery, and his erotic passion for his friend Piers Gaveston. Dido, Queen of Carthage, written in 1593, is another important play, though is supposed to be written in collaboration with Thomas Nash. So Marlowe's contribution to English drama is immense and manifold. We may conclude with the illuminating remarks of A.C. Swinburne, quote, "Before him there was neither genuine blank verse nor genuine tragedy in our language. After his arrival, the way was prepared and the paths were made straight for Shakespeare." Unquote. Thank you.